Today, a journey deep into the mountains and jungles of Papua New Guinea. There, a small team of missionary pilots has spent decades bringing the Bible to people who have never had it in their own language. Here's their remarkable story. Papua New Guinea is one of the most isolated places on Earth.
There were people that lived here for thousands of years and had never any contact with the outside world because of how rugged this place is.
In many parts of this country, there are no roads, no highways, no easy way in or out.
Some of our translators have said, I'm not sure I even would come out here.
This island nation is home to more than 840 languages, the largest concentration of languages anywhere on the planet. For the men and women devoting their lives to translating the Bible into these languages, simply getting here can be the greatest challenge of all. That's where JAARS comes in. Without its helicopters and airplanes, much of this work wouldn't be possible.
JAARS is really committed. They call it the Green Belt. And we're committed to the Green Belt to the most remote areas because we want to go to them. We have to get the gospel to these people.
For nearly 8 decades, this Christian aviation ministry has helped Bible translators reach some of the world's most remote people, using specifically equipped aircraft to cover what they call the last mile. Dr. John Marcellus heads the aviation ministry here.
It's going that last mile. And that's sometimes the hardest. But if we don't go the last mile, we won't get there. But there are over 800 languages here, so we need to reach them with the gospel.
Reaching some of these villages means days of hiking through dense jungle, climbing steep mountain ridges, crossing rivers, and navigating dangerous trails. Christopher Clark is a 22-year veteran with JAARS.
This is not your little 4-mile hike in Yosemite. This is just hiking through the bush. They're treacherous trails, and there's often people falling down and getting injured.
For missionary pilot Greg Raychard, each flight reminds him of just how remote these communities truly are.
Aviation is used as a luxury, to speed things up, make things more efficient. In some cases, here in Papua New Guinea, it's like this is really the only practical way to reach some of these people groups.
Each mission begins the same way. Weather checks, fuel calculations, cargo, flight plans, and then another journey into some of the Earth's most remote terrain.
Unreached people groups or, difficult to reach places in the world. And everyone assumes well, surely there's a back road. Surely there's a Jeep service that will take you there. People who try to hike out of here to go to the nearest city die on the way sometimes.
Raychard understands difficult missions better than most. Before joining JAARS, he spent years flying Black Hawk helicopters into combat zones as an Army medical evacuation pilot. Now he's one of JAARS's newest missionary pilots.
The physical danger was real in combat, and I did experience times when I was taking enemy fire and just had to keep doing my job.
Now Sierra de Lima is crossing the 300 radio.
After retiring from the military, Greg assumed his flying days were over.
I thought I was saying goodbye to aviation. I wasn't going to fly helicopters anymore. I did not think that I would be doing this for missionaries in this part of the world. This is something that God had in mind, that He prepared me for.
Wait, we're landing there?
Yes.
Are you serious?
Oh, yes.
Oh my gosh.
We got to make sure these kids clear out.
Today, nearly each time Greg takes off is dedicated to supporting Bible translators working in remote villages.
Almost every blade hour that I put on this helicopter is related to actually helping a missionary, moving translators from place to place, moving materials and logistics, so that's very rewarding.
The importance of JAARS becomes even clearer when talking with the translators themselves.
Before I was able to come here by helicopter, I had to travel by road, and it took days, and it's very stressful and dangerous at times.
Veteran Finnish linguist Katri Linasalo has served here almost 40 years.
If I wasn't able to here come by helicopter, I doubt I would have been able to stay here as long as I have stayed here.
She says pilots like Christopher Clark don't simply drop her off and fly away. They're mechanics, problem solvers, friends.
Both of these?
Lifelines. On this trip, Clark makes sure Linasalo's solar panels are still in good working condition.
Pilots are very good at stopping here and making sure everything is okay in my house before they leave me here.
Landing in Papua New Guinea's highlands is unlike anywhere else in the world. Many of these so-called airstrips weren't built with heavy equipment like bulldozers or construction crews. Instead, entire villagers carved them out by hand, knowing that one day an airplane would connect them to the outside world.
They'll spend years to make an airfield. And we're talking making an airfield with no bulldozers, no nothing, just their hands and no special equipment.
It's a beautiful place, but it's also, it can be tough sometimes.
Yeah,
just
sure.
the isolation, remoteness. I feel like this place is the end of the earth, you know, like it's just so far from anywhere. The roof is made out of banana leaves, and these houses last maybe 10 years, then they got to build a new one.
Okay.
Everything's, you know, from local jungle materials.
For Bible translator Matt Taylor, aviation made it possible to answer God's call. In 2004, Matt and Christy moved to this very remote part of Papua New Guinea and spent the next 6 years learning the local language. By the way, a local language that had no written alphabet.
Our goal has been to translate the New Testament into the Nukna language.
The work is painstaking.
It's not just about a book, it's about seeing changed lives and transformed hearts.
One book of the Bible can take years to translate.
If I had to give a number, I would say maybe like 3 years.
For one?
For one book. Well, some of these books are quite long.
An entire New Testament can take decades.
So the first 7 years, we weren't translating. We were building up our team, I was learning the language, investing in training.
It took the team 16 years to translate the New Testament into the Nukna language, checking each word, phrase, and meaning again and again and again, all for just 1,300 people who spoke that language.
I believe that every person is made in the image of God and has infinite value. If God's called me to come to this place to translate the New Testament for such a small people group, then that's worth it.
Taylor says JAARS isn't simply making life in the jungle easier.
I think so. Yeah, I'm gonna try, yeah.
It's making ministry possible. On a recent helicopter mission, pilot Raychard had to overnight in Taylor's remote jungle village to fix a broken water tank that collects rainwater.
The trick is you can't get it too hot or the whole thing will just cave out.
We're the lifeline and the technical experts in many cases, and just helping hands here to serve.
For Clark, supporting Bible translation has been a way of life for more than 2 decades.
I love the mix of the flying. I like interacting with Papua New Guineans. I love supporting our translators, using gifts and skills, you know, in the technical world, in the spiritual world.
In another isolated mountain village, translator Zach Kahn says his family's ministry simply wouldn't exist without helicopters. Even building a home requires aviation.
If we didn't have a helicopter, nothing that you see here would exist because I wouldn't have been able to carry it in.
His wife Cassidy says aviation has also been critical during emergencies.
We've had 2 medical emergencies for which we've medevaced out, as well as a natural disaster where our big earthquake came through here and our houses actually fell down and broke.
But perhaps its true impact of JAARS isn't measured in flight hours or miles flown. Marcella says it's measured in relationships built over years and often decades.
When the airplanes land, it's like they come out of everywhere. And you're just like, where did all these people come out of?
Marcella says what happens next tells the real story.
They know our pilots by their first names.
Very nice. Oh, wow. I like it. Thank you so much, Annie.
They know them, and our pilots know them by their names. A relationship not only with the translators, but even more important with the people. It opens me up, obviously, to the gospel, which is critical, but it opens them up to the world in ways that just transforms their communities.
Across Papua New Guinea, hundreds of languages still do not have a complete Bible translation. For many of those communities, the next chapter begins with the sound of an approaching plane. For the pilots of JAARS, the mission is simple. Keep flying, keep serving, and keep going wherever that last mile leads.
And so JAARS doesn't look for the easy answers. We look for the hardest answers, to ease burdens, to reduce barriers, and to bring God's word to these people.
So that one day, more people can read God's word, not in a foreign language, but in the language of their own heart. George Thomas, CBN News, Papua New Guinea. I just want to say thank you so much to the team at JAARS for allowing me to come all the way to Papua New Guinea and to highlight their amazing work. By the way, if you want to learn more about this awesome ministry, just visit their website at jaars.org.